On this episode, we are going to talk about the man who is believed to have empowered or given powers to the people that were part of the whole apartheid system in South Africa. And this is not a small subject, and I think Mandems need to take their time, look it over, and the whole jazz. A lot of times when I saw videos about this man, they were positive. There were videos about, wow, this man was doing well during the apartheid system, and then so forth. But it was like, at what cost though? We gotta go back and look at that and get into it. This is the show with the daily Christian commentary videos. Without further ado, let's get into this article. There is this article that was written in 2016. The story as a whole, I had heard this name, but I never connected the dots between the two. So I was like, what's going on here? So it says the black man who gave Van der Voort orders. That's what the article is called. It was written on the 16th of September 2016, okay, by Fred Kumalo on the Sowetan website. Now, this is the picture of the man. His name was Khotso Setunza. Now, I had heard, this is what I say, I had heard Ndatem Koto talking about this man, but I never noted a lot of it. I just kind of like, I think maybe it was just mush at the time. Kanti, I didn't know that this story goes as deep as this, okay? Says Khotso Setunza, a wealthy Inyanga from Lusiki had H.F. Van der Voort and the other people as clients. That's not me. It's written right there. He had them as clients. Now, bear in mind, these are the people who were busy with the oppression of the black people in South Africa. So it's interesting to see Inyanga, who's supposed to represent his people, quotation marks, helping a system that was oppressive to the... Okay, interesting. Let's read it here. It says, the 50th anniversary of Henry Fritz van der Voort's death. Last week, I write a news article, a piece, in which I mentioned the passing that which this architecture of apartheid was not in the church. Now, remember, they've been screaming that, no, his church was oppressing people. No, these people use the church as an image of good, an image to say God is on our side. But you read the book, it doesn't say anything like this, okay? They say it was not in the book. He would consult a black Inyanga, the article goes to say. Lodged with requests of more on Khotso Setunza and the Inyanga behind Van der Voort's powers. Man, them was Twelisha. He was twalishing and what and all that kind of stuff, okay? Okay, some thought I mentioned the Inyanga in jest. I was not joking when I pointed out the both Van der Voort and other vice-wild prime ministers of South Africa. He mentions them there by names. Consulted the multi-millionaire Inyanga in the build-up to the National Party's victory in 1948. Very fascinating. 1948, Israel gets its independence to being a nation. South Africa is enslaved. Quite interesting. Maybe South Africa is in prophetic. I don't know. When I was growing up, the story of Khotso and his relationship with the Afrikaner politicians and how he'd use his magic to prop them up was spoken of openly in Black South Africa. It was quite a well-known subject matter, okay, that this man then was busy there using his powers to increase the oppression of black people. But in white South Africa, it was only in recent times. You gotta man them tripping right now, okay? You gotta man them tripping right here. This is, but in white America, it's only recent, especially in 2007, publication of a well-researched and academic astute book called The Extraordinary Khotso Millionaire Medicine Man from Lusa. I want that book, by the way. I want this book. We must come here and talk about it. Michael Lewis, that the dark side of Venervoort comes to light. And Bazalon, you know what? Our talks about these books do kind of help. So if the people that are publishing this book, yeah, you do well to also communicate back. You see the number up there, you know, holla at that number, holla at your boy. You know, I spoke about the other book the other time, okay? The video did 70,000 in numbers. How many of those people converted into buyers of that book, okay? So we are promoting your books. Holla back. Holla back. So Tunta, who preferred to be called the first by his first name, was by all accounts a colorful character, and he had 23 wives, bragged of all and sundry that he could satisfy them in bed using, so basically he had a magic potion that could make him strong in bed or something like that. But some went so he could help them engage in ugutwala. So he was twalising people back then, was to say he was not twalising the people of apartheid. Okay? For the uninitiated, and ugutwala is a dark ritual where a person would go through Inyanga to obtain a portion or muthi or juju, as you might call it, to make him rich and powerful. Sadly, this specific ritual mostly entails the sacrifice of a human being or the death of a human being, you may put it. So they might not kill the person, but the person actually dies during that particular ritual, or that particular ritual haven't been done. Usually a relative of the client, the person who came to get the dark power, so that they may be what? They may be empowered to get wealth and riches. According to the book by Woods and Lewis, Khotso delighted in the purchase. Every Cadillac and not interested in that part. Khotso would arrive as the show of the what with bodyguards. Yeah, that's another thing. Carried what. He carried banknotes into the bank, kept it in his what in his house and whatnot. That's not a part I'm very interested in. I am not here to read how rich the man them was. Me, my issue was, okay, I'm only interested in this relationship, ungodly relationship. The relationship between the Inyanga and the racist demagogue, and fascinate me if you consider the face of Venervoort did not think highly of black people. That's a very good point. He thought they were socially inferior and incapable of reaching certain levels of intellectual maturity. That's how much Venervoort thought of the black people. And so when he met this particular black person, did that not disqualify? But that told you, no, you know, some people, even if you convince, even if they see the truth before their eyes, they just don't care for it. But anyways, in his justification for Bantu education, teaching black people different thing to what he once said, there is no place for the Bantu or in the European community above the level of a certain form of labor. What is the use of teaching the Bantu children mathematics when it cannot use it in practice? That is quite absurd. Education must train people in accordance to the opportunities in life in general, okay? And so, yeah, the idea was very cookie. Mandem was very cookie, but he was being twalisad by Inyanga. Khotso's reputation soared. His Muthi had saved Venervoort. So at one particular point, I guess there was an attempt on his life. He survived it. And this made this particular Inyanga's medicine popular because they thought it had saved him from the attempt on his life. Blah, 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 blah. My issue in this particular story here, as we are talking right now, is the subject matter of how an Inyanga used his dark powers to empower the apartheid system, according to this article. There's even a book about it, as we read earlier on, up there. This is absurd. As I've stated, these people's supposed ancestors are not your ancestors. These are foreign gods. These are beings from the beyond who have sought to be worshipped from time before. The thing that they seek the most is to be empowered, is to be worshipped, the same as you would worship God, and therefore they have found a better vessel in those people that are willing to accept them. This article is quite interesting. But y'all man, then tell me what your thoughts are. But I'm very interested in reading this particular book to detail this entire thing, or to break down the details or these other details about this entire jazz that we are hearing about here. It's quite interesting that the rise of this mandem was the rise of the National Party, which was oppressive towards the black people. I know a lot of people would only rather look at he was rich. He was rich, empowering who? These things are dark mandems. Things that were destroying the country. It enriched him. He was rich, feared all over. But at the end of the day, at what cost? At one point, I heard one story that someone did something, and then it spread bad luck to the person and whatnot, and that's how he became feared. That in his local area, there someone meant him ill, and his juju might have gotten to that person because things went south for that person. Right after they had a disagreement with him. I read one particular story, or I heard one particular story of such a kind. Now, a lot of people would rather just look the other way from this. They would just rather not have to deal with the details of it and say, excuse me, here for a second, Ubunyanga is being used to empower apartheid. What do we say about that? It's the Rick Reality Show. Daily Christian commentary videos. Other videos down in the pin comments, so check them out, and I will hear from you over there. Hey, y'all forgive me. The flu got me, but it's, I normally don't get it that long, so it's not a complaint issue. I get it for like a day or two, it goes, but on those 2 days, it's terrible.